Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving have quietly become one of the best duos in the entire NBA. You would think that this duo and this team in general would be getting a lot more recognition, but there are so many other storylines in the NBA that they seem to have taken a back seat. We all know how good Luka is and how good Kyrie has been in the past, but this duo has been better than we all expected this year, myself included. After last year's disappointing finish where after they traded for Kyrie, they missed the playoffs and play-in completely, people were wondering if they could work together and if the Mavs were real contenders in the West. Halfway through the season, though, they are definite contenders and sitting at 6th place in the West, but sit only 4.5 games back of first place and 3.5 games back of last year's champions, the Denver Nuggets. With how close this conference is and how good the Mavs have shown that they can be, if they get hot at the right time and rattle off a 7 to 8 game winning streak, they can easily propel themselves into at least the top 4 seeds in the West and can contend for the top 2 or 3 seeds as well. Kyrie Irving has actually really impressed me this season, and even without Luka in the lineup at times, he still has been great. One thing that has impressed me is that even when Luka's out, Kyrie can lead this team to wins and at least be competitive, which they were not without Luka last year. In their recent game against the Knicks where Luka was out, Kyrie dropped 44 points and 10 assists on 15 for 26 shooting and 6 threes to win a game against a good team. He's shooting 42.6% from 3 and averaging 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds a game, while Luka is averaging 33.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists a game. If Kyrie Irving can go back to playing that secondary role that he played for LeBron in their Cavs years, this team can be really lethal because you have a guy on Luka Doncic that's been so good throughout his career but has never really had a secondary superstar to play alongside him and hasn't had a lot of team support. But when you put a guy like Kyrie Irving, who is putting up the stats like I just mentioned and can play as the number one guy if he needs to, that just adds an extra aspect to this team and allows them to play more freely and play a different style of basketball than they have throughout Luka's entire career. And I think last year, when they played so poorly together at the end of the season and ended up missing the play-in completely and got shut down at the end of the season, I think that was more due to chemistry issues and Luka and Kyrie both having to figure out how to play together. And it's almost good for them that they did have that experience because now they come to a season this year with a totally new perspective and they have that trial run out of the way and they're able to work a lot better together. So as you're looking at the Mavericks going into the back half of the season and into a deep playoff run, you can look at them as real contenders because even something else has changed from past seasons is that you have a guy in Tim Hardaway that's averaging 17.5 points a game off the bench and has really stepped up to provide depth scoring for the Mavs. And he's always kind of been a decent scorer, but he's always been the second option beside Luka, but now he's averaging 17.5 as the third option. They don't have anyone else averaging over 11 a game, but Grant Williams and Dante Exum are above average three-point shooters who play solid minutes, and Grant Williams provides a lot defensively. So they also have a lot of depth outside of Luka and Kyrie, and while they don't have the flashiest numbers, they don't have to because you have a guy on Luka who's averaging 33 points a game and a near 33-point triple-double, while Luka is averaging 25 himself and shooting the ball really efficiently, and he's become an elite three-point shooter at 42.6%. And then you just need other guys to fill their roles, which Grant Williams has done very well, shooting 37% from 3, which is above league average, and playing excellent defense as a guy who's a fringe starter. But if you look at the Mavs as a whole, you just have to think about how far they've come from last year, and especially the end of last year when they looked so poor at the end of the season. We'll have to see how they finish out the season and how their chemistry can grow throughout the rest of the season. But at this very moment, with how their role players and their stars have been playing as a team, I'm very optimistic about how they can finish out the season and they can easily make a deep playoff run. The problem is the West is so competitive that it'll be hard for them to actually make that deep playoff run because every round they're going to be going up against solid teams. Even as a top seed, you might have to go up against the Lakers or the Warriors who have championship pedigree and both have superstars on their team. So going up against a lower seeded team in the first round isn't even going to be a piece of cake because you're going up against hard teams. But I think that if the Mavs can play the way that they've been playing recently and their stars and role players can mesh together as well as they have been, I think this team has a really good chance of making a deep playoff run. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you think Luka and Kyrie are a top 5 duo in the entire NBA. God bless you all, and I hope you have an amazing day.